For a person with autism, isolation from their peers has a devastating impact on their quality of life.
My son's name is Michael. Michael was lonely and he was sad. He started to realize that he didn't have friends and that he was different, and he started to give up.
I'm not really the best at making friends, and I was sort of alone.
It's very common for kids like my son to say, well, I don't want to go out and I don't want to, and it's a front, it's a defense mechanism.
Autism brings with it low social motivation, being out of step socially. It's very easily to become isolated. The problem with that is that your social skills don't get better. In fact, they get worse. And then you become more and more isolated. So it's a vicious cycle. Students typically have a social skills group where they learn all sorts of different skills, from making eye contact to how to speak to people, how to make friends, things like that.
There was sort of like this group, like these were kids like who had autism and issues, and it's just like, it sort of felt forced, and I really didn't like it. And sometimes I wouldn't participate as much or like engage in conversation.
Our children shouldn't be excluded or just in a group with each other, because how are they going to learn? You know, they might learn things that are negative instead of positive.
One of the key challenges of autism is being able to take those skills and then apply them outside of the group room, or what we call generalization. And that can be done through schools structuring things, but when you get to middle school, you can't really have a paraprofessional or a teacher sitting there at the table with you. The DDH social group is really not going to tolerate that.
You know, students on the autism spectrum can be targets, and they need to have allies out there because they don't have enough. And that's really where the peer mentoring comes in big time.
Peer mentoring is a very efficient approach in that it uses naturally occurring resources. It mobilizes the students, who someday will be teachers and nurses and doctors and psychologists, and at very little cost or no cost at all, to provide this very important service.
It's not prescribed, it's not taught, it just kind of happens, it's real.
They'd come up to me and just like start talking, and it didn't really feel forced at all. I was sort of like taken by surprise that someone came up to talk to me. It just felt really good to like actually talk to someone else instead of, you know, like wishing you had friends or something.
Some schools are uncomfortable in that it's different, and some schools will say students don't want to waste their time taking care of other kids, they want to be with their friends, or they may say the parents would never give permission for it, because it's a different way of working.
I remember being in 6th and 7th grade and seeing the people go in for peer mentoring and thinking like, wow, that is so cool. Like, I want to do that. I think that I'd be really good at that. And then when I was in 8th grade, I was asked to do it, and they explained to me what I would have to do, and it didn't seem hard at all. So I was on board from there.
But I think it helps the parents of the children with disabilities, because they see their kids growing when they go to school and they come back and have a great day because they were able to talk to someone and make new friends. And it's just so beneficial for them in their entire life, and not just their home life and their school life.
He can go to college, be gainfully employed, have a family, get married, all of those things. And I think peer mentoring really put him on the track that we would hope. It's funny because my husband and I joke, he goes out more than any of us. He has a more active social life than any single person in our family.
My favorite part is seeing the kids that I peer mentor blossom into their own individuals.
Being able to see my mentee not need me anymore, because there came a point where I didn't have to nudge him for different social cues, and it was really cool to see that I had actually done something to impact his life.
It's really creating a relationship with someone and having them trust your ability to lead them into situations that they normally wouldn't be comfortable in. So the relationship is the most important part of this, not just telling someone how or what to do.
I like the peer mentoring program. I met quite a few people that I've never really talked to, and now I sort of talk to these people without being introduced to them. I could consider them my friends.
I think the biggest resource is having someone kind of walk you through the initial process, whoever that may be. Someone who has some experience doing it. Come visit. You can come visit our program and just see the students involved.
By the A.J. Drexel Autism Institute, 1 in 3 young adults with autism has no community participation in the 8 years after leaving high school. If you want to end isolation and marginalization of those with autism, include peer mentoring in your program.